What's what's up, guys? 41st Acre here. Ben, Brett, Justin. Justin was totally unprepared. We started the recording as soon as he hopped online. Let's get into it. Texas versus Kentucky. Saturday, 6 o'clock. ESPN, I think. Texas coming off the win against Oklahoma. A good bounce back for them after falling to Georgia in the swamp. Sark actually looked good. Calling plays. Arch looked good. Wisener
Pause.
ran the great. No pausing. Texas is looking at the CBS Sports app. They opened at 13 and a half point favorites. It's dropped to 12 and a half. So the public is betting on Kentucky to cover. So there's still, I think, a lot of questions around the Texas offense. Again, we mentioned Arch was efficient, but the offense still didn't put up a ton of points against OU. Um, so again, this might be the easiest game left on the schedule for Texas in conference. Brett, give us your take on this game.
Um, yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think this game's more about Texas than it is about Kentucky. Um, is it exactly what we talked about after OU? Are we going to see a continued momentum and improvement with namely our offensive line, a continuation of success for the entire defense? I think that's what it's going to come down to for this game. I'm with you, Ben. I think this is the easiest game we have left of the year. I think it's a good precursor to the remaining slate of SEC opponents we have. So we got Mississippi State, Vandy, Georgia, Arkansas, A&M. So there's not really too many easy games you can pencil in here for the rest of the year. Kentucky is probably the easiest of those. So I think, for me, I don't know anything about this Kentucky team. I laughed at one point in time because I remember reading a headline that Zach Calzada, an old Aggie, would be their starting quarterback this year. I think he's been benched or he's injured or something like that. But it was entertaining to see that like a 29-year-old man was going to be starting for a college football team this year. No shade, Diego Pavia, if you're listening, but like I said, I think this is more about Texas than anybody else, and namely for me, the number one thing I'm going to be looking at for this team is going to be our offensive line. Like, are we going to continue to have success there? Are we going to continue to scheme in a way that our offensive line can succeed against this defensive line? My understanding is that Kentucky has a decent or maybe a good defensive front. They don't allow a ton of points per game. So, do we hold up again, similar to how we did against OU? We've got a little bit of injuries right now on the offensive line. It seems like the injury bug hit us again. I don't know if y'all saw this, but Connor Stroh's out, so backup left guard, and Cole Hudson was named out, I think yesterday or the day before, starting center, which is, maybe one, well, there's never a good offensive line position to lose, but you certainly don't want to lose your center. So you got Connor Robertson stepping into the role at center. Imagine all the other positions are the same, but your depth just got a lot small, a lot
Yeah.
smaller, and yeah. So let's see. I don't know.
You want me to go now, Ben?
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. Um, I do think this game is going to be also like I know that we want to make it about Texas, but I'll go on the contrary end of that. I also do think it's going to be about Kentucky. They are now where Texas was after Florida. They're 0-3 in the SEC, 2-4 overall. Their backs are against the wall. They have not won an SEC game, I think, in 8 games in a row, something like that. Like, that can't feel good, especially in your home crowd. You're getting to the point where I don't think Mark Stoops is technically on the hot seat because Kentucky's not really known to be a football school. If they put NIL anywhere, it's into their basketball team. Well, basketball is about to start up. So football has their last chance to show off in front of their home crowd and potentially, get more NIL bucks or show off for any players, whatever you want to say, before everybody just turns into a complete net head, right? So I think you're going to see probably, more or less a very low scoring game. I think they played Georgia 16-13 or 16-6, something like that a couple years ago.
That was
Like,
last year.
right. And even before that,
Hmm.
when Georgia was just a tank, not that Georgia wasn't good last year, obviously they made the playoffs, but a couple of years before that, when they hosted them, like back when Georgia was winning national championships, these guys were fighting to the whistle every play and to the end of every quarter, to the end of every game. So I think they'll come out with a good defensive scheme. I think that they will also try to take the air out of the ball. I have no idea what the over under is on this game, but probably go with the under. Looks like the Storms aren't going to hit, so that's fine. But at the end of the day, I think that this game is still an SEC road trip, and we have not won an SEC. We haven't won a road game this year, right? Lost at Ohio State, lost in the Swamp. So pack your bags, pack your run game, pack your defense. Like, don't just because we're coming off the high of the OU game. I want to be positive. I do believe that we should beat Kentucky. Don't get me wrong, but yes, it is about what Texas can do, but they have to understand that Kentucky is going to come out there ready to punch you in the mouth. It is not a rivalry. I understand that, but they are winless in the SEC this year. They want to show off in front of their home crowd as best as they can this time because it might be their last time to do it until basketball starts. So, make it about you. I understand you can only control what's inside your own locker room. Don't, whatever, kick out the outside noise. Don't worry about the spread. Don't worry about who people are picking, etc. Certainly don't worry about us jackwagons, what we say. But at the end of the day, like,
No, they
understand that
should
you are
worry
going
about
up.
what we say.
At the end of the day, they need to understand that Kentucky is not going to lay down. Like, I could be totally wrong. I hope I am wrong, but they are still an SEC team. We are going into their house. We have not proven that we can play well on the road yet. So it is just as much about us as it is about what Kentucky is going to come out trying to prove, just from looking at it from their point of view as well.
Yeah. Calzada got hurt in that Ole Miss game.
Mm-hmm.
So Kentucky's played they're 0-3 in the SEC. They've played Georgia most recently. Um, Ole Miss was the first game on their schedule, and then South Carolina. They gave up 30 points to Ole Miss, 35 to South Carolina, 35 to Georgia. I watched the only highlights I've seen are the Kentucky Georgia game, and I think the first two touchdowns by Georgia were Gunnar Stockton runs. Stockton, they pulled him late in the third quarter. He had 6 rushes for 48 yards. So the quarterback run game was a key to Georgia moving the ball. Um, they stuck with the run. Didn't see a ton of explosive runs, but they just stuck with it. I think Texas kind of did that against OU last weekend. Stick with it, and then you pop one. Um, but the linebackers to me looked like a place to attack, and then the corners on the edges for Kentucky. But I think their defensive line's good. Um, I think Brett mentioned that as well. On offense, they've got a receiver, last name Law, number one, looks pretty quick. Transfer from Alabama. Their running back looks good, um, but they've got the vulnerabilities I mentioned. Georgia put up 35 on them. I think I don't know how good Georgia's offense is either. Same with South Carolina. Same with Ole Miss. These are kind of defensive teams this year. I think with the overall record that we have so far. So just some thoughts I had on the one game I watched from 2 weeks ago. Kentucky is coming off a bye week um, as well, so they didn't play last weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and they haven't played a home game in a month, much like how Texas isn't playing a home game for 4 or 5 weeks. Same thing with
Hmm.
them. So they're itching to get back in front of their crowd and play. The one thing I will say about their offense is Boley, the kid who came in, like he might find himself. I don't know if he'll find himself against Texas, but I could see him finding himself this year. Like there was a lot of chatter about get Calzada out of there, let Boley play. He's more than likely the future. He will definitely throw some 50-50 balls up. So if our secondary plays how they did against OU and our pass rush, specifically the edges, can get to him quick enough and make him make those throws, make him uncomfortable, then yeah, we could see another 2-3 interception night for sure, which obviously would go a long ways with sealing a win. But I'd be curious just how level-headed we come into the game. We're coming off a super big emotional high, and I think that's where a lot of my hesitancy comes in.
Yes.
Is Oh, we're back. We found it. We did it. Last year with Quinn, they nipped that in the bud. We never saw them lose concentration the whole way through the season. Yeah, don't get me wrong, they lost to Georgia twice, but it wasn't due to lack of concentration. If anything, we all said I think it was like, oh, the stage is too big. They just weren't quite ready for that particular time. But at this point, or maybe Kirby just has Sark's number, right? At this point, it is you played like dog crap against Florida. You got your manhood tested against OU. You came out on top. Don't let what happened last week affect what you need to go out and handle this week. And that's, I think, my biggest concern. I still think that they can go out and win this by 2 scores. Don't get me wrong, but that's where my hesitation comes in after just knowing how a Stoops works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Texas did win what 31-14 last year at home against Kentucky. And we
Mm.
I think going into that game, we're thinking the Stoops kind of curse, if you will. Um, and then again, these teams. This will be the third time these teams have played. Texas owns the series 2-0.
Hmm. You know, I do worry about the whole like coming off of the big OU game one because I mean, if you look at the one time last year that we looked flat-footed coming out, it was against Georgia in the first half, and that was the week after OU, right? And that was when like and granted, everyone, all the media had a kind of appointed Texas to the throne at that point in time, right? And it probably got
Yeah.
in their heads a little bit, but we were down. What were we down at half against Georgia? 20-0, something like that.
Yeah. To maybe
It was
3.
it was big. It was down big at home. With game day there. I actually saw an article. I can't remember who posted it, but it was talking about the week after OU. Texas is like 4-2 in the last 6 years, something like that. So we've got a good record. However, I think all of those, or majority, or like 5 of them, were one score games when maybe they shouldn't have been. Maybe the point spread was a little bit bigger. So, a game like this, Kentucky, whatever you said, Ben, it was 12 and a half points, 13 and a half points. You don't want this to be a one score game. You certainly don't want this to be a one score game at their house at night, right? Because
Right.
that's how they can bite you in the ass. So, I think it comes down to just kind of that mental aspect of it. There's no part of this Kentucky team that is more talented than any part of this Texas team, right? If
Yep.
Texas, I don't care how good Kentucky plays. Kentucky can play a perfect game on Saturday. If Texas does their job, they don't have to play perfect. If they do their job, this game should not be close. It should not be close. Now, doing our job has been a very challenging thing for us this year, right? Like, hey, learn how to block the B gap. Well, maybe we don't know how to do that. Maybe we don't know what a B gap is. I don't know. Maybe we
Didn't
forgot
learn
to go to elementary
ABCs.
school and learn our ABCs.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, uh, so doing our job has been very, very, very challenging this year. So I'm not 100% confident they can. I really hope, though, I really hope that the rat poison and Nick Saban's, uh, uh, self-named rat poison has not hit this team, and it certainly shouldn't have, because Michael Taft will be the first person to tell you that if this Texas team is thinking that they've got these in the bag, they have one more loss, and their whole goal for the entire season's over. One more loss and their entire goal. So you cannot screw up one game. So if you're caught looking ahead, you're caught thinking that this team is not very good, and you lose it, it's over. The season's done. You best you can do is 9-3. There is no playoff then. There's no SEC championship. It's baked. All right, and we're on to 2026, and nobody wants to do that. So there, I hope, like I said, Justin said that he hopes the team's not listening. Team, I hope you're listening to me right now. Do not let the rat poison in. It's a very real thing. It's toxic. It'll ruin us.
Amazing. What you
Yeah.
got, Ben?
I was just thinking, for those of you that don't know, you got the A, the B, the C, and the D. That's the biggest. Had to
There's
throw
too
that
many
in
too many Steinfeld quotes today.
there. Yeah, but only one on the podcast. That one made it.
That's
We
true.
have to hit our quota. That's a good
Yeah.
call.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Texas
Yeah,
just needs to, I think, do their job, as Brett was saying. It's a game I think we all expect to win. I don't know. I was looking at some of the other games we had in the spreads, and I know one of the things that Sark's done really well in his time here that the coaches before Mac Brown didn't do is we rarely lost the games where we were double digit favorites. Um, we're in that position now. Take care of business. I think at Florida it was 5.5. So you're playing five. It's a 5.5 point spread away game in the swamp. The swamp's a lot different than Kroger Field. Um, again, Kentucky's played Ole Miss tight. They've played Georgia tight in the past, but I don't think Texas means the same thing to Kentucky as those teams do, beating those teams. So I know Texas is a national brand and all, but they're just the deep the Southeast Conference rivalries. They probably get up for beating those other schools, and the crowds that look more into it. I don't know that they really care about this game, and if we get a lead early, then we can take the crowd out of it for whatever points they're worth.
Yeah, if they can run the ball, man, I mean, just slow the game down, run the ball, convert third downs when we need to. This is all stuff we talked about before the Ohio State game, right? It was very much just, guys, football is a simple sport, and we don't need to overcomplicate it. Not this, especially not this year, not with a new starting quarterback, a lot of new offensive linemen, just not a lot of new players across important, very important positions. Guys, football is a one-on-one sport, right? You do your job, like you said. You beat your guy, you beat your guy, you beat your guy. This hole will be open. Go run through it. The way that Wisner ran against OU was easily the best we've ran the ball all season long.
Yeah.
And that was
No doubt.
against a hardy defensive front. So I think that you got to be able to do that against Kentucky, but one play at a time, right? One block at a time, one run at a time. Start with 4 yards, get to 6, get a good chunk of 15, do it again. You need a third down conversion? Cool. Arch, roll out, hit an easy pass. Let's go. Hey, 4th and 2, we're on the 10-yard line, kick a field goal. We are up. Let's move on, right? I think that that is the winning recipe for Texas right now. Arch is going to continue to get better, and these road games are going to help him get better. But he's got to know, and same with Sark. Arch and Sark just have to find their groove so that he can get to the point where he can go in and look at with confidence in his offensive teammates' eyes and say, hey, this is the play. Let's go run it. Let's get a first down, and let's move on to the next play. And I think we've seen Arch get better all season long. We definitely did not see him play his best the first couple of games. We and other people were hard on him. It's not like we were alone with that, right? So I think that he's getting better. I think this will be a game to harden him. And I think the game plan has got to be exactly what it was against OU. If we kick 5 field goals and score 2 touchdowns, I don't think I'm going to be mad at that at all. So,
Well, wrapping up here. Let's. I did see an article that Michael Terry is moving to running back from wide receiver,
Yeah.
freshman, with the Jarrett Gibson transfer news and the other running back injuries.
Hey,
We'll still have
let's hope that we can see some young guys on
Christian
Saturday,
Clark,
huh?
Lyman,
yeah.
Michael Terry. Is it all
Yeah.
just going to be Wisner again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Well, I'd love to see some more James Simon. I think he's got something there. Christian Clark, we have not seen a good version of Christian Clark like we heard about in fall camp yet, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then if we can see a Michael Terry special play, that'd be fun. Or throw in Jamie French, Khalil Lockett, like maybe some of these younger tight ends. Like I would love to get one more game where we can get some young folks playing. It'd be fun. It's always fun to watch some of those young guys see if they have that spark for that immediate playmaker ability.
Yeah. Yeah. When you see a guy's got juice, you can see it on 1 or 2 plays. You go, that one. Keep doing that. Get him the ball.
All right, Justin. Final score prediction this weekend.
What was the over under?
It was.
I
it
didn't
was,
see it. I'm sorry.
I think 44.
Okay. I'm going to say the same damn score it was last weekend. So was it 23-6? Man,
Yes.
that is covering the spread, which I thought would be a tough thing to do.
Yeah. 12. What? 12
I
and a
would.
half, 14 and a half. I'm
Okay.
assuming. I'm assuming the 12 and a half.
Okay. I'm gonna say 20-10.
Hmm.
I don't know how they score a touchdown. Maybe 20-9. That's within the spread. It's still
Yeah.
the under. Gets us 20 points. Yeah. I'll go 20-9. Players to watch out for. I think Colin Simmons is starting to find himself. I think that they're weak on the edges. They could very well double team him, and that would open up Ethan Burke or somebody else on the other side. Trey Moore, Spence. Let's see what we got to do. Stop
Lance
the run
Jackson.
game, make him pass. But I'd love to see Colin Simmons get another 2.5 sacks up. And on offense, I did want to say this. I've been kind of watching Arch, and we were trying to figure out who's the go-to guy. Who's the guy that's going to make the play? I don't think it's a receiver. I don't even think it's a tight end. I don't think it's a running back. I think it's Arch. I think Arch just finds the open guy. He doesn't have necessarily a favorite guy. You're
No.
open? Okay, cool. Wingo's getting the ball. You're open? Okay, Mosley, you're getting the ball. Whoever has the best lineup before the snap, or whoever runs the best route, or whenever he goes into scramble mode, whoever works with him the best. I think it's on Arch to find the open guy. Don't worry about your favorite guy. Find the open guy. So I'm looking forward to see if Arch can continue to grow like that. Go get a win on the road. Low scoring. I got 20-9.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing you said about wide receivers. When you said that, I was like, who is like the go-to guy, like numbers wise? And I guess if I'm looking at the right stats for 2025, it is Ryan Wingo at 22. But the difference between our top three is minimal. I mean, 17 for DeAndre Moore, 15 catches for Parker Livingston. And Livingston was injured for three-quarters of a game against Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's pretty even. Injuries has 11, so he's a little bit lower than the rest of those guys. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point, Justin.
Yeah. The only thing with Wingo is while he does have 22 receptions, his are a lot of times just screen pass, little
Yeah,
slant route. Like he's not, hey, go run a deep post. He's not like difference maker. And so the scramble, I think the guys who work best scramble mode with him is Livingston and Moore for
yeah,
sure. And that was in OU. We saw that, right? So I think it's just Arch is just like, man, whoever's open is getting the damn ball. Let's move and go on. Or he
yeah.
scrambles and runs for 20 yards.
Well, the difference between the range of those wide receiver yards is 240 to 308. So again,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
it's
the guy with the least amount of receptions has the most yards.
yeah, yeah.
Balance.
So he also has an 83-yard touchdown catch. So
True.
it gives him a little bit of a bump, right?
Couple of missed tackles there.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, what's your score prediction?
Um, what was Ben? Remind me what the Georgia and Ole Miss scores were.
Yeah, it was 35-14 versus Georgia, but Georgia took out the starters with seconds to go in the third quarter. So
Okay.
35-14 Georgia, 35-13 loss to South Carolina. Ole Miss was 30 to
30,
23.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dare I
they're
say that
allowing
we're going to score 30 points in this game? Um,
I dare you.
The only thing
I'm
I'll
gonna.
say about that is South Carolina and Georgia were both on the road. They're both
Yeah.
at Georgia and South Carolina.
Sure.
Hmm. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'll put up a 31 spot on this game.
Yes.
I think I could see a defensive touchdown here. Colin Simmons strip sack, return for a touchdown or something like that to give us a little bit of an extra bump. But I'm going to say 31, 30, 31, somewhere in there. Um, whatever it takes. Right, Ben? Uh, and then as far as how many points they score, I'm kind of with you on the 10 spot. I feel like that's pretty good marker. I'll leave it at 10. I'll say 30 to 10 final score.
Yeah, no, we've scored that many points. 30-10. So Brett's got covering. Justin, you said 20-9.
Yep.
So Justin has covering, or not covering.
No.
Excuse me. I will go the not covering route also. I've got 24-13 in my mind.
Hmm.
Um, I think maybe we'll give up a touchdown this week after holding OU without one last week. I think it's maybe it comes
Yeah.
late. Um, but I'd like to see some QB run. I mentioned that when I watched the last game tape for Kentucky versus Georgia. Gunnar Stockton was successful when something wasn't open, take off and run. So what again? That's one of the things I'd like to see more with Arch is just instincts, take off and run versus just waiting and waiting. So just a little bit quicker decision making. I think that can be an advantage, and hopefully we can put in some backups in the fourth quarter the same way Georgia did.
Hmm.
That would be the ideal scenario heading into Mississippi State. Um, but Justin, sorry for pranking you. We started the
Oh, you're
recording
good.
as soon as he hopped on. He had no idea, but we're happy to get this done. We are unfiltered, a little biased, 100% truthful. I remembered it. I prepped this time.
There you go.
Longhorns.
Hook 'em, baby.